Jeff, thanks for joining us. When you were in there talking to the guys after the game, and Cam Hayward in particular, it sounded on the audio side like he might have got a little misty-eyed about playing 202 games. Was there some emotion there for Cam Hayward?
Yeah, a little bit. I do think he was annoyed that they made an announcement during the game. like seriously, it just had this look like, you didn't have to do that. People knew. I didn't need all of this. I think a little bit. Here's where I think Cam gets emotional. It's like he kind of doesn't think about it, and then he starts thinking about some of the guys in Steelers history, and that fact that his name is ahead of most recently Donnie Shell and Mel Blount. Like, I'm the guy who's played the most games in Steelers history, and all he puts into it and how he respects the history and has met these guys and holds them in the highest honor. So I think in that way, yes. But I think there was a little bit, when he said that, I wish they wouldn't have done that. I think he wishes they wouldn't have done that.
Jeff, let's talk about the game a little bit. And one negative I took from this football game, and there's a lot of positives, but one negative is Broderick Jones. I mean, he seems to be a liability. I mean, week in and week out. I just don't know what direction you could even go right now with Faltanu being out. But he seems to be just a big-time liability on the offensive line.
Yeah, that's one of those. Let's hope the bye week changes everything. Get away and come back, be refreshed. Maybe it's start of the second half of the season and you're playing a little bit better. It has been a struggle. I mean, not just the penalty. We've seen some inconsistent play from the start of the year, really from the preseason. You remember that Houston game where he just struggled and he wasn't just there. And I'm not exactly sure. You kind of thought maybe he didn't know what side he was going to play, and that was affecting him. But it's been 8 games, and you kind of known for at least the last 5 what side you're going to play on. So, yeah, it's been a little bit of a struggle. And I think for the Steelers, you're right. I mean, they don't have options. It's not like they can turn to somebody else and have them play. I mean, he's got to pick it up a bit.
Jeff Hathhorn joining us here on the Fan Morning Show. Fan Morning Show brought to you by Guardian Protection, your hometown home and business security company. You talk about Cam Hayward understanding the history of those who walked before him. Well, speaking of history, 22 straight Monday Night Football wins. Is that a point of pride for the guys in the locker room? Is that something that they're aware of, something that they're trying to keep going, Jeff? Or after the game they go, oh, wow, geez, that's pretty cool.
Oh, wow, geez, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I when it's brought up, I think they're aware. Maybe from friends they're aware, but I don't think this is a streak that they look at as...
It wasn't some rallying cry or anything like that.
Yeah. I don't look at it that way. I see it more of like, hey, we took care of business. It's cool that you do it on prime time and everybody's watching. But it's weird. It's funny you mentioned Cam. Like, there were a few defensive guys where, they're excited they won the game, but there was also this, man, we let Tracy run on us. And we gave up too many yards. Like, there was almost not of loss, but this sense of like, yeah, that's great, but we need to play better.
Jeff, George Pickens, 4 for 74 yards. Van Jefferson, 4 for 62. Calvin Austin, 3 for 54. Darnell Washington, 1 for 29. Pat Freiermuth, 2 for 19. Najee Harris, 3 for 17. Jaylen Warren, 2 for 13. Michael Pruitt, 1 for 10. I know this sounds crazy, but are the Steelers, and should the Steelers still be in the market for another wide receiver?
I thought you were worried about the Steelers trading from a position of strength now.
Right.
I still think they could add to the depth. I do. I mean, listen, it tells you a little bit, too, that it's not just the receivers, that also if the quarterback's looking to spread it around, maybe that's part of the reason that you didn't see is so much diversity in the passing game. All of a sudden, these guys are making plays, they're in the right position, and it's a different quarterback. Russ has said from the beginning, like, I like to spread the ball around, and he'll give you a very long, detailed reason as to why, and that he believes in his guys, but they're making plays right now. I still would add to it, but I'll give them this. I mean, those guys are stepping up. Calvin Austin stepped up. Van Jefferson stepped up. We've seen it from the tight ends this year. If this is what it's going to be, at least they're showing that if this is the group, that they can make plays.
Jeff, you got all the big plays that mattered from this game last night up on 93.7thefan.com. I always use it as a cheat sheet, especially in the late games, because things get a little foggy up there. Anything else you want to point the people to on 93.7thefan.com?
No, there's a thing we do of notes and quotes that's up there, and it has some of the best quotes of the game, and also some of the notes, some of the things you guys were saying about Monday Night Football. There's also a story about T.J. Watt, and once again, it's like, someday, because Tomlin almost gets annoyed. It's like Mike Sullivan with the questions about Sidney Crosby being great like every 10 games. And it's kind of like, all right, let's go down this road again. But someday you're not going to have Watt to talk about. And also Calvin Austin, man. But finally, and you hear a lot of guys, including Calvin's, like, they knew it was going to be a matter of time. And last night it finally happened to have that big return.
Jeff, thank you for the time. We appreciate it. We will talk to you on Thursday. Get some sleep? ?
Yeah. Is that a Clint Krewald jersey?
Oh, this is Zach Frazier, baby.
Of course.
Beanie Bishop on the way.
Mm-hmm. Neil Brown. Poster of him, too.
Beanie, 3 in 2 games.
I mean, Cam
He's got to
Sutton.
play New York every week.
That's right. Bad sports night for New York, by the by. Jeff, thank you for your time, buddy. We'll talk to you on Thursday.
All right, see you, boys.
Jeff is the man. A late night for him. A lot of great stuff up on 93.7thefan.com. Real quick, Calvin Austin. He got a redshirt year due to injury. Roman Wilson. I saw some people with a lot of followers on the social media yesterday saying this Roman Wilson's looking like a bust. Look, it's not ideal. He got hurt twice, missed all of camp, some fluky stuff, tried to jump on the moving train, got hurt jumping on the moving train, and now he's on IR. We find that out just before the game. Look, it's not great. Obviously not. And he probably could have helped this team if he had been there the whole time, but he wasn't. It's going to wind up probably being a redshirt year. You'd like it to happen faster than it did for Calvin Austin, but it is happening for Calvin Austin. So I don't want any of this bust talk with Roman Wilson.
No,
it's unfortunate, but come on now.
Not yet.
Let's not go down that path.
No.